You made my sister afraid to walk to her car at night. So I'm going to make you afraid of the dark. I became the dark effing night. Along with having two little brothers that I am very protective of, I also have an older half-sister, who I am extremely protective of. Let's call her Carrie. She is 4 years older than me and this story takes place when I was 18. Okay, she was a manager of a small family-owned restaurant. A restaurant that she'd pay me cash for being a sub-dishwasher. There was a cook, who was a stoner and substance fiend. I kinda liked the guy at first. I became one of his substance connections. I was a very cautious substance connection. I made it a point to really get to know anyone that might be buying substances from me. This helps me keep out of handcuffs. So I hung out at his place, met his wife, he took me to a few at his friend's house parties and Why did he become the object of my revenge? Well, I haven't been to the restaurant for about 6 months and at the time my family had cut me off any and all funds. TBH, it was the right thing to do, but I still talked to my sister 2 or 3 times a month. So at this point sister had fired cook because she caught him smoking grass in the kitchen and blowing the smoke into the hood over the range and drinking on the job. Now you'd think if you got fired because of those reasons you would be expecting it. It wouldn't throw you through a loop or anything, right? Well, apparently not for Cook. The day she fired him he screamed in her face, threatened her. That night her car magically got broken into and the tires were slashed and some threatening things were carved into the doors. Did my sister call the cops? Yes. Did Cook get arrested? No. Why? When it was clearly him. He had a friend vouch for his whereabouts. So sister tells me the whole story crying and was worried for her safety when she had to close the restaurant late at 2 a.m. Time for my nuclear revenge. I wanted Cook to wish he'd never been born. So my plan was to wreck his whole life. First. His ride. I paid the cook's car a visit, slashed his tires in a way that would break both his axles and topped his gas tank off with diesel. Second. His new job. Cook had got a job working at a pizza place, a place that I knew most of the employees, seeing as it's on the same street that my older sister's restaurant is. So I called some of them and told them what he had done to older sister. I didn't want him to get fired because I liked knowing where he was. They just made his life hell at that place, until he was bullied out of there. This took a while. Third. His substances. He was a big substance fiend and I was an even bigger dope fiend and I knew all his connections and stopped all sales to him very easily, by saying that he was in fact a snitch. Fourth. His home life. That was easy, all it took was a pretty girl at a house party and a camera. His wife kicked his dumb ass out. Lol. Fifth. Last but not least, letting him know that it was all me and to get the F gone out my area. And some assault. Can't help it, I let Cook know that I had some amazing stuff for cheap. Meet me at location at time. He got jumped and robbed and told to get out of town before it gets even worse. I never saw him again.